Willow Creek Springs presents Healthy Living with your host, Joe Grumbine.
All right.
So if they're going on her Instagram and at that state that she was putting it out there, they're going to be like, oh, this is maybe not the greatest place to go if it feels this way.
But you know, it makes sense because like I always use this example because it's just everywhere. But like when somebody is in a good relationship and they go to a place where there's a lot of people, a lot of times people will be attracted to that person and want to talk to them, right? And
It's
you're
true.
just not even in a unhealthy way, just you generally are appealing to be around, or you want to be around that person. There's a charisma or whatever that comes from it. But then when that very same person, when that relationship goes south, or they're all by themselves, or they're wanting a relationship, all of a sudden it's the opposite. Like nobody wants to talk to the person who's trying to
That's
hook up.
yeah.
And and there's no word said. That person looks exactly the same. They dress the same. They smell the same. They look everything, right? Maybe they're even more appealing because they took a little more care of themselves because, you know, they want to make sure they're all dolled up or whatever. But like you said, I think that people smell that. Like there's a not really smell it, but they sense it. There's a neediness or an unease or something's off, right? Because
Yeah.
you're hungry, you know,
Yeah.
and I think people sense it, and I think you're spot on because I know, like whenever I get in a struggle, my natural instinct is to try harder, right? Because I'm
Mhm.
wired that way. If something's not working, well then I must not be trying hard enough. I better get at it harder. And it seems like the harder I try, the less good something works. And then all of a sudden something changes, and all of a sudden you get into a groove and you're back flowing, and all of a sudden it just comes right all back. I
Yeah.
could never really put my head to like what that change is, but now that we're talking on an energy level, it makes perfect sense. So
And it could also be like that you were more relaxed and not thinking about it so much. And usually, when we're in a state of relaxation, like we tend to work, our body tends to function like more naturally how it's supposed to, and we think more clear. And there's so much with that too, and that goes in hand with Reiki too. So that's another big thing about Reiki. That's like the biggest like benefit is that it relaxes the body like to a certain point where you go into a deep relaxation, almost like a very deep meditation where you can't move, like you're aware of what's around you, and it's like this heaviness and like heavy relaxation over your body. And maybe when we get some time, maybe I can do an in-person so you can really get to feel that. Oh, or Liz, whatever,
yeah,
or the doggies, or
no,
Reiki the doggies.
definitely. No, we definitely want to do it. I definitely want to do it.
So
Well,
yeah.
put it this way, like we did a remote session about a year ago, right?
Mhm.
And I went down where my fire ring is, and I sat myself on a bench right next to the stream so I could hear the water and be in sort of a relaxed place anyways, right?
Mhm.
But I know that when you were doing it, like you kind of described, it was very it's almost like, you know, when you're going to go to sleep, I just did a podcast episode on sleep, and there's four main states of going to sleep. And
Yeah.
the first state is you just start to relax, but there's a stage just before you go into REM sleep where literally like you're paralyzed, your brain doesn't, or your eyes don't move, your breathing slows down, your heart rate slows down, and you're in like an altered state. You're aware, but you're not able to process the same. And I kind of felt like I was crawling into that place. I don't know how deep I got. You know, it's when you go into a treatment like that, whether it's massage or the oil treatment or whatever, when it's happening, it's very blissful because it's really nice, right? And
Yeah.
you don't really remember, you know, that feeling exact. You just kind of come out of it and you're like, oh wow, that was really neat. You know, you feel
Yeah.
good afterward. But yeah, um, I definitely know when we did that, it was a very relaxing, and it was hard for me to, you know, describe, well, there was this or that. It was a general feeling of well-being for sure. And I felt like it was helpful for sure.
Oh, that's great to hear. Yeah, a lot of people say the same thing, that they feel like a sense of like deep relaxation. Even when I receive it from other friends that do Reiki, I receive a lot of distance.
Mhm.
I feel like a wave of just like of calm and relaxation and heaviness, and I just want to lie down and like take a nap at just for that time. And then I know when she's done, when kind of that feeling has lifted, and
Mm.
I'm like, okay, I think she's done. So then I'll get a message maybe a few minutes later. I'm like, oh, okay, she's done.
So when you're doing Reiki, I mean, it's very different from, you know, like you say, you do a hands-on session, which is obviously very orchestrated, and you have a person come to you and lay down in a particular way, and you're in a particular way. But when it's remote, like, have you ever done it without anybody knowing? Like you say, you can do Reiki on a plant or on an animal where they don't have any way to ask you to do it or to tell you they
Yeah.
want it. And I would think that I don't know anybody that wouldn't want it done, but I'm just saying, like, have you ever just done it and just knowing that you were helping somebody just because you were sending them love? I mean, to me, it's like blowing somebody a kiss, right? You could do that and never worry
Yeah.
about causing harm because all you're doing is sending them a little good energy, right? There's nothing
Yeah. Sending
harmful.
them good thoughts.
So you
Yeah.
do that sometimes? You just like send
Yeah,
some
I have.
little Ricky
I
love? That's
have.
good. I would do
I
it all the
have.
time.
Yeah, I have. And then, people buy or gift sessions for others,
Okay.
like for friends, for family members,
Mhm.
for like coworkers, like colleagues. I get a lot of like people in universities and
Ah,
things like that. Yeah, I get surprised like who's very open to it. It's like a wide range of like different types of people, which is it's really nice to see. I did distance work on someone who was in a coma.
really?
Yeah, it was very interesting.
What was that like on your side of it? Like like I was in a coma when I was a kid, when I was 18 years old for
Oh
3 days.
wow.
And when I came out of it, I lost everything. I didn't know who I was. I lost my sense of smell, taste, touch, everything. I lost it all. And little by
Wow.
little it came back, but it was crazy. I didn't taste or smell anything for 10 years. And
Wow.
I don't know where I was when I was in that coma. I just know that I lost my whole identity when it happened. And I wonder, like from your point, what did you like? I always wondered. I'm sure they're not all the same, right? I mean, it's just like any.
No, yeah. Well, that particular person, I never met him. He's one of my friend's brother-in-law.
Mhm.
He had an aneurysm, and he was sent to the hospital. He was in a coma. The doctor said that there was no way he was gonna come out of it, or even they give him like no chance. Like they were saying, okay, just bring all the family, and but he was, he's kept in a coma. Um, I would do Reiki on him like every Sunday for I think about a month. Um, and he came out of it like
Wow.
3 months later. I don't think it was just the Reiki. I think it was a lot that, a lot of um, it was very interesting. A lot of like his family praying
Mhm.
there for him. They were there. They didn't leave him alone.
Right.
Um, and it was very like miraculous.
Yeah,
I
it
guess
sounds
you could.
like it.
Yeah, and now he walks around like he's good, like his mobile
Uh,
is good. Like it was just like the strangest thing that he just came out of it, and didn't have to do much physical therapy. Like I kind of check
really?
in, and yeah, it was very like I said, it was very miraculous, and I don't think it was just a Reiki. I think
No,
it
it's
was also
totally, it's
his
all
family.
connected though. That's like anytime I've gone through an issue, I go at it with everything I got, right? I mean, whatever
Yeah,
we try to eat good food, we try to exercise, we try to, you want to go at it with everything.
yeah.
So when you were doing his sessions while he was in the coma, like what what was your feed? Like what were like, what were you sensing from him?
I would just feel that he was like aware of the things that were going around in the room.
Okay.
And I would get the sensation that like he didn't want his family to worry. So he
Okay.
didn't want them there like crying over his bed
Mhm.
or them worrying about, like him being okay. That's like a lot of what I felt. Like he didn't want that. He wanted people to just be there like living with him. Like if
So
it
he
was
was
just
conscious though, in the sense of,
I felt that, yeah, that he
okay,
was aware of what was going on in the room.
okay. And that's
And
always been my sort of like, I don't remember when I was in a coma, so I don't know if I noticed
yeah,
or not, but I always wondered, like when somebody's non-responsive, like is there times when they know you're here? And it sounds like in this case it was like but it could have been on an energy level, like like a lot
yeah,
of people when they go through a traumatic experience, they'll have out of body experiences, right? So what is it that is conscious that's out of your body? you
yeah.
know
And I felt it was like that. It was like almost like a dream state kind of thing.
Okay,
It wasn't like I was communicating with like his physical body. It was like something different.
interesting.
Um, and yeah, and I got the hint of like he wanted different smells in the room. Like he
Ah,
wanted like so I don't or maybe it was just something that could help him.
mhm.
So I suggested her to like take different like essential oils to
Okay.
the room and like just for the sensory like just the smell because he I don't know if he needed that
Mm.
in his I don't know what it was. I didn't really get a hint for what it was, but I mean if it helped then that's
Right.
great.
That's
But
always
yeah,
my theory is when you're doing something like a lot of what we do as practitioners, that I do this thing and then this other thing happens, but you don't ever know what all is connected to it, right? Like
yeah,
if I make a product and it has 12 ingredients in it and I think to myself, this is the right formula, but maybe there was only three of those ingredients that did all the work and the other ones were just there. I don't know. I'll never know that, right? There's
yeah.
all these things. So you're talking about, you're one ingredient in his whole world, and he had family that was praying, and he had people that were doing different things.
Hmm.
Who knows what all was factors in it? And then of course his own body trying to heal itself. It's probably everything together. We'll probably never know, but I think that
Yeah,
that's really interesting though, that being aware of that and how you choose or how you discern a feeling of we need to make a change to a recommendation like that. That's pretty cool.
yeah, it was interesting and well I couldn't really I I mean I could now I could go ask him. I didn't really do it and I don't know I don't really follow up like too much on those things like
Mhm.
and on his case really didn't follow up too much because also I don't want to get like too attached
Right.
to certain to certain things so I just kind of asked my friend like oh how's your brother-in-law or how's like oh okay but I haven't really heard from them so that's a good thing. That's a good
Right.
thing I haven't heard
Some
from them.
people always come to you when they need help, right?
Yeah. So that's a good thing. That's a goal is for them to not that and that's why I teach it too is so that other people can do what I do because everyone can do it. You just have to have the drive and the passion for it and it's kind of a discipline because I also have to eat a certain way. Like I can't just watch anything on any certain day.
Mhm.
uh, I can't, do certain things because I have Reiki sessions the next day. So I also have to stay at a certain I guess how would we say, like, vibratory
Hmm?
frequency,
Yeah, you have
staying
to keep
healthy.
yourself in a particular kind of shape. So
Yeah.
a professional athlete, uh,
Yes.
when they're training for the Olympics, they're not eating a pizza, you know, 3 weeks
Yeah.
before they're gonna go run their race. They got to put their body in the right place,
Yeah.
or if somebody's gonna be, whatever, if you're gonna do a ritual or anything, whatever it is, whether it's mental, physical, spiritual, um, y- how you take care of yourself affects how you can perform whatever it is. Even like somebody who sings, right? If you're going to put a concert on, you're probably not going to be yelling and screaming a couple of days in advance, right? You're going to be
Yeah.
careful in how you protect your own instrument. So I think your whole
Yes.
body's the instrument here, so you got to be mindful of what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I have to just, be careful with that so I can't just it's like a whole lifestyle change, and I mean, it keeps me, like, disciplined, so that's good. I see
Mhm.
that in a good way, so I stay healthy because I have to,
Yeah, because
and it's really interesting.
if you get
Yeah.
sick, or if you're having an allergy attack, or if you're got a migraine headache, or if you have a flu, like, you probably wouldn't be able to do a good treatment on somebody else if you're all out of whack, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do a treatment at all.
Wouldn't think so. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want you
No.
to treat me if you're
No.
not feeling good.
No, I'd be, like, doing a disservice to the person receiving.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't yeah, if I'm, like, emotionally, like, something's going on, um, like, if I'm going through something, I don't I just give myself a break, give myself some time to kinda come back, and then I'll know. But it's interesting that you mentioned that, and I explored and navigated all that. But there's sometimes where I'm kind of going through something challenging, but then I
Hmm.
still get people asking me to do Reiki, and it's nothing physical where I'm sick. I'll just,
Hmm.
it's life. Life happens, difficulties come up, challenges, things that stress you out. But then it'll be something and for the longest time, I would also say, "No, I'm not gonna do Reiki." I'm not gonna put up any ads or, put up any posts to bring anyone in, and so I would stop. But then I would still get asked to do Reiki in those times,
Okay.
and I'm like, "Okay." One time, the first occasion, I said yes, and then, everything that I was working on this girl and everything I was picking up, it felt like something that I had just gone through, whatever I was going
Um,
through. So I was like, "Wait, is this me?" I'm like, "Wait, but I did my yoga, I did I
right.
prepped myself?" So then I started, conversating and asking her like, "Hey, are you going through this? Is this?" And she's like, "Yeah, I just went through this, and that."
Oh,
And it was exactly the same thing that I had just gone through. But
wow.
she's like, it had just happened to her, and I'm over here already, like, towards the end of, like, what was happening, like, closing it in and, like, starting to process, on that end, and she was just barely, like, leaping into it. I was like, "Oh my gosh."
I wonder
Okay,
if
so
there wasn't some kind of a connection there, though, like, like what we were talking about before, when you're in a good groove, you attract certain kind of people. When you're in a funk, you attract different people. And I can't help but wonder if maybe what you
yeah.
were going through um turned your frequency on to where she found you, or thought that what you had to offer was what she needed. And I wonder if it didn't have anything to do with there was some kind of connection there.
Yeah, I think so too, and then I thought about that for a long time too, and like, should I stop? Should I? And then I would just keep getting, people, and I was like, is it because I can relate to them and kind of guide them through and give them my advice on on how I, went
Right.
through it, and maybe they need some type of resource that I had to go that helped me go through it, or
Exactly.
something,
But that's
that.
that's the gift of suffering and the gift of a challenge, is like whenever one of us goes through something that's horrible or difficult or challenging, whether it's a physical problem or a relationship problem or somebody dies or
Mhm.
whatever, and you survive it, you get through it, you resolve it. It seems like that's when the people that had that same problem find you. Like now you can help them because like somebody that endures or recovers an addiction, or somebody that loses a loved one, or whatever the biggest thing is. And
Mhm.
when you come out of it, all of a sudden it seems like those people that have gone through that, come and find you. And then all of a sudden now you can help them in a different way. Like you can truly empathize with them and say, I know what you feel because I felt it.
Mhm.
Or you can say, you can sympathize with them, right? Because you could say, well, I want you to feel better. I feel for you, but you can't share that feeling with them, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, and then and I remember going through like the training and all that, and it's like what's the best, and I don't want to say healer, but like I guess just as wisdom wise, like people that are
Mhm.
better at going through challenges is the people that have already experienced, or to help others is like
Mhm.
people that already experienced those things or certain
Exactly.
certain challenges. So yeah,
Exactly.
that's it comes in phases. Certain themes change, and it's like it comes like 1 month will be one theme, a month will be another theme, and it
Okay.
just kind of changes and moves around. So right now, I've been getting a lot of people that have gone to see medical doctors, but
Mhm.
don't know what's wrong with them.
Ah.
Yeah, I have
There's a
several, and
lot
I
of
have
that
a
going on right now, I think. I keep
yeah.
hearing a lot of people that are saying the same thing. Like, I got this thing, but they don't know what's causing it. And I'm like, well, shoot, maybe you don't go to the same doctor. Maybe go
No,
find
and
another
it's
way.
people that have gone through, like, procedures,
Uh-huh.
studies, tests.
Right.
There's one lady that's going to, like, the I think it's UCLA place where they
Uh-huh.
do, like, experimental, not really sure, cases, or like rare cases.
Right.
But yeah, they can't find anything. They can't find anything in this. And then I have a kid too that he keeps going. His mom takes him like everywhere. Like she's taking him to like Chinese doctors, acupuncture. Like
Wow.
and they can't figure it out. But I feel that it's sometimes it's emotional.
Right.
Emotional emotions can do a lot to the physical body.
So that's where I wanted to go next. And just so you know, we're going way over time. I'm probably gonna
Oh
cut this
yeah.
2 episodes, so don't worry about it. We're just gonna keep
Okay.
going. Good. It's a great
Okay.
conversation. No, 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 we're fine. I can chop it
Is
up
it
any way.
is it okay if we Oh, okay, sorry. Is it okay if we end it at 7:30?
We can totally end it
I
whenever you're
totally
ready.
didn't.
Yeah, yeah, no problem. Whenever you're good.
Okay. Okay,
So,
thank you so
oh yeah, we
much.
can
Yeah.
go back and do another
I
one,
didn't
pick up where we left off. It's all good. Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's a
can talk
good thing.
forever.
Yeah, well, and me too, as you can tell. So that's one of the things that I wanted to get into, because it seems like the whole idea of the placebo effect or the nocebo effect, where a lot of, I think, what is giving us problems physically has an emotional or spiritual or mental origin. And where things like stress or fear or whatever the core issue is, I don't know. I think that a lot of times it can manifest in any possible way. And I think that a lot of people that have physical ailments, um, if you really get down to the root of it, sometimes it might it might have an origin in a spiritual or mental or emotional issue, and then all of a sudden that triggers um, some kind of a response, and then that exacerbates and turns in, ultimately becomes this physical problem that would be pretty hard to find a solution for if you're just looking at physiological reasons, right?
Yeah, yeah, and it's tough, obviously the mom is the one that, goes well, both the kid and the mom. But I'm sure it's harder because she's not in the body, so she doesn't really know what's really going on. I mean, the
Right.
kid can say, "Oh, describe it this way." I describe it this way, but it's like a 12-year-old kid.
Right.
So it's that one's a little tough. That one was a little tough.
So we just got a few more minutes, but I did want to talk a little bit about your training and your practice, your sessions, how you operate. And I told you a year ago I was interested in learning how to do this. I'm still interested, and as we're beginning to work a little more and more together, I'm sure that's going to happen. But how does it work? Like when you train somebody to practice Reiki, like how does that whole process happen?
So the classes, I there used to be so there's Reiki 1, Reiki 2, and 3, so 3
Mhm.
levels. In how I teach it, different teachers to have different I guess different ways of how they have their classes set up and programs or trainings or workshops.
Mhm.
But I do 1, 2, 3. So level 1 is you learn how to get in touch with the Reiki energy. It's like an activation. It's called an attunement. You receive the first symbol, so you learn the history, how it works, how to do self healing on yourself. So the first level is more about self healing and learning how to connect with Reiki and how it works.
Okay.
And then and it's like an 8-hour class. I do give like materials. We do have I do one-on-ones or group. And then for the Reiki 2, you learn how to do Reiki distance. So you receive more symbols, learn how to do the distance work. It's more focusing like taking the practice deeper, so you learn
Okay.
more about meditation, like breath work, learn more about the chakras, and then just continue on the self-healing and then how to treat others. So at this point, and at level 2, like one can do it professionally, like you can charge for your services. At
Okay.
level 1, it's need to do like close friends, family, um, animals, plants, like objects, and then I teach like how to cleanse yourself, how to like maintain your energy and things like that. And then
Mhm.
at Reiki 3 is so you'd be considered a Reiki master, is how to attune others, how to hold classes, um, and just like deepening. If with each one, like we deepen the meditation, everyone has to like create a practice, and
Okay.
for every training we have to do like 21 days after of like self Reiki consecutive, and if they don't do the consecutive days, then they have to start over. Yeah, I'm like so strict with that. Like you have to start over. Um, and then for the Reiki 3 well, once they get to Reiki 2 and then in Reiki 3, the students are open to join me for like for group events to come assist and
Oh,
practice. And then
okay.
for the Reiki 3s that are learning how to attune, they can come and learn how to they can learn and the trainings on how to do attunements to others. So it's like an ongoing.
So when you do the Reiki 2 and 3, do you also do those in groups, or is that all just solo sessions?
I offer both. I offer
Okay.
one-on-ones and groups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds exciting. And so tell me, this is sort of your magic moment here. I know that people listening are probably going, "Wow, that sounds really cool. How do I connect with this person? I'd really like to have a consultation or schedule a session." Let's get right to the heart of the matter. How does somebody get a hold of you?
Okay, so they can send me an email at botanicasantana5 at gmail.
Fantastic. And that's also in your bio link that is connected to this session. So if you're listening, you're like, crap, I didn't hear that very good, just click on the link that'll be in the description. You'll go right to it.
Yeah. And then I have an Instagram if you want to follow me on my Instagram. It's at Cynthia J. Oh, no, I'm sorry. At Cynthia_J.
Excellent. And we'll
Yeah.
also make sure that that link is in your bio, and that way it'll be super easy to find. Well, Cynthia, every time we talk, it seems like we're only talking for 5 minutes and it's turned into an hour and a half. And I am really grateful that we're getting this time to spend together, and figure out how to connect the dots, how to create this community, how to help heal the people and issues that need healing. I'm glad you're here in the world and helping out. I certainly need the help, and I'm looking forward to doing this again. We're going to be working together. I'm going to, continue this effort that we're doing. I'm looking forward to learning about Reiki and getting a little more involved with that as well. All right, Cynthia. Well, thank you so much once again for being a part of our show, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And thank you and congratulations on the garden and everything that's just flowing, and that's amazing, all the work that you've been doing. And thanks again for having me. And I'm sure I'll be back on one of these again. And yeah, I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. We'll see you on the next one.
Fantastic. Well, this has been the Healthy Living Podcast, brought to you by Willow Creek Springs. I'm your host, Joe Grumbine, and thank you, Cynthia, for joining us. We'll see you next time.